So now we are down to Unit 2 review. Unit 2 review, and I've numbered it incorrectly in my notebook. So this one's actually going to be page 28.5. 28.5. Anyway, same thing as the last unit review. You don't have to watch it is in its entirety. Whatever you feel like you're going to be stuck on, that's what I need you to focus on. And you can skip and do whatever you need to do. Okay. All right. So starting with the first one, what is the value of f of -8? Anytime you see of f of something, your mind should automatically. I hate when it does this. I really do. Your mind should automatically be going to f of x, right? And that lets you know, leads you to see that -8 is in the same spot as x. So you would plug it in anywhere you see an x. 3 times -8 plus 1. Well, you could type that in the calculator, but 3 times -8, -24. -24 plus 1 is -23. Okay. Number 2, what's the domain and the range of the function? For domain and range should be fresh on your mind. You want to label both endpoints. Okay. And domain. Nobody else is in the building, so I don't know why it's doing this. Nobody else is sucking up the internet juice. All right, so what is the lowest x value? -6. -6 is at an open circle, so no need to underline it. And it goes all the way to 3. 3 is at a closed circle. Y, smallest y value is -8. That one's at a closed circle. The highest y value is 9, open circle. What is the value of f of x at x equals 5? It's another way of writing one like number 1, where you're going to plug in a 5 anywhere you see an x. But remember, you need to be careful and look for every x in the function. There's actually 2 places that you would plug this into. So 6 times 5 cubed goes on the outside. 2 times 5 squared plus 7.5. So if I were to type this in the calculator, anything other than a 2, you want to use that button above the division, squared plus 7.5. And that one gives us 707.5. Okay. Number 4, which graph represents y as a function of x? Functions. Does the x value repeat, yes or no? One way to handle it, especially because this is a multiple choice question, is just to see if they repeat. If you look at f, that one repeats because it crosses twice. H, that one, a vertical line over another vertical line, is going to repeat indefinitely, multiple spots. So that's a repeat. I can put a vertical line anywhere on this graph and it's not going to repeat. And I can put a line on this one, it's going to repeat. Notice how you have 3 answer choices that repeat, but only one that doesn't repeat. So with functions, the multiple choice questions are going to be very easy. You're just going to pick the odd man out. Number 5. You're going to plug in that -13, so 30. 2 times -13 plus 5 minus 3. And we get -633. So g of -13 is -633 on the page. Number 6. Here it's a domain and range question, but look at your answer choices. They are in the form of words. So I'm going to first label my points, 0, 55. And 30, what's in between 36 and 42? 39, 0. So for my domain, We go from 0 to 39, range 0 to 55. Okay, well, we know that 39 is only associated with domain, 55 is only associated with range. So you can automatically eliminate B and you can eliminate D. Here it says all real numbers less than or equal to 39. That one would imply that you had written it like this, where you have 1 infinity. But notice here on C, your stopping points is 0 to 39. For the range, your stopping point is from 0 to 55. So your answer would be C. Okay. A lot of the times, half of the answers, they're going to match up the wrong number with the wrong domain or the range. Okay. Which functions represent y as a, or which one is a function? Which set of ordered pairs is a function? Well, we only focus on the x value. This one repeats this one. When it's a multiple choice question, just check to see if it repeats or doesn't. Does not repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, no, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Well, the ones and the twos repeat. 2, 6, -3, 2, negative. So the 2 repeats. You have 3 answer choices that repeat, one that doesn't. So there's your answer. Which answer best represents the range? First of all, you know that range is a y, so you can automatically get rid of answer choice C. That should be your first thing to get to check. Negative infinity to positive infinity. Positive infinity to positive infinity. And this one is -3, 5. Yeah. So the lowest y value is 5. The highest is infinity. Whenever you have, remember, you only keep this part right here. It's not going to be all real numbers, but we must move the variable to the front. So that would cause it to flip, and you get y is greater than or equal to 5. Number 9. Ooh. Total cost in dollars to buy calculators, where if there are at least 27 students and no more than 31 students. Think about the context. You're purchasing calculators, right? Can you purchase part of a calculator? No, you can't. So we're forced to use what? Whole numbers. When we use whole numbers, this is a discrete function, meaning your numbers have to be listed. So it cannot be an inequality. But this is where you would put your x. This is where you would put your y. Your y is your cost, meaning that's going to be your range. Your x is your students. So the domain is the amount of students, number of students. And only one of these makes sense, which is B. This is the number of students. These obviously represent costs on D. Number 10. Which graph represents a quadratic function with the range of all real numbers greater than or equal to 6? All real numbers. Ooh. Okay, so we're talking about range. We're talking about a y value greater than or equal to -6. Well, if you look at this -6, that's on the x-axis, so you know it's not A. Okay, B, you're looking at the -6, it's on the y, but if it's going down, what would that be? Not greater, that would be less. Here, the -6 once again is on the x-axis. Here, you got your -6 going up. Up means greater. So your answer would be number 11. What is the range for this situation? Okay. Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about a cannonball that was shot in the air. When we're talking about it, you need to think about it. Can you go a negative amount of meters? Can you have a negative amount of seconds? No, these numbers do not go lower than 0. So we're actually going to go from 0 to what? Look at your numbers, and you'll notice that they're increasing, and then it starts to decrease, right? 20 to 22 is increasing, 22 back down to 21. This is where your cannonball is probably falling back down, right? So that means we're going to go from 0 to 22.4, which is C. 2 is a number that's only associated with X. 2 is a number only associated with X. This one right here, A, would imply that we're going into the negative infinity. This one implies that it's written like this. And we can't have a negative amount of meters. Okay. Number 12. Oh, yeah, you're going to have one on the test where you're going to have to graph it and everything. Okay. Complete the table, all that good stuff. It says complete the table to represent her charges in terms of t-shirts sold to create a graph. It says she charges $10 per shirt, so 10 times the amount of shirts plus $5. Okay, so that would imply that our equation is y is equal to 10x plus 5. So 10 times 1 plus 5, 15. 10 times 2, 20 plus 5, 25. 35, 45, 55. Okay. So the first thing they want you to do is graph it. Now, because we have such high y values, I think I'm going to use these as fives, intervals of fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then this part, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. Okay, so we get 115, 225, 335, 445, 555. That ends up giving us a straight line. And it says determine whether the situation represents a function. Look at the graph. Is that a function? Yes or no? Yes. And because you are going to be required to justify that answer, the justification is because it passes the vertical line test. And yes, you can abbreviate it, vertical line test. Okay. 13, last one, still simple. You're just going to plug in a -5. So 6, double parentheses, squared always goes on the outside. Put that into the calculator. And you get 117. So f of -5 equals 117. All right. If you get tripped up or need an explanation on any of these questions, just shoot me a message. Hopefully I can respond. If I don't, please don't be mad at me. I'm just that much closer to being back. Okay.